Can you all see me? Am I visible on your screens?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming. And this is one other session. Now we are going into, till now we were discussing on IQ area. So there are three areas of training: IQ, EQ, and SQ, right? So IQ is about intellectual quotient. And relating to that, we did, I think we did, what all courses we did so far? Does anyone remember? I think we did, let me tell you. Yeah, we did business process and IT systems. We talked about corporate expectations today. And then we talked about time management. And we also did meeting etiquettes, right? So that is all part of IQ training, intellectual quotient, how it helps you in your workplace, directly related to your work, right? Now, today that we are going to go through is part of EQ. EQ is emotional quotient. And EQ is again divided into different modules. We are going to deal about, the module in which we are going to discuss about anger, right? Anger management is one of the topics. Like there are many other such topics like stress management, anger management, anxiety management, or inferiority complex management. Like there are many of them, right? Now, these trainings are very unusual. They're not that openly given in the market. And even if they're given, I personally have never felt them useful because they're not very practical, and they're not they're not well equipped with wisdom coming from both, from intellectuals, also from scriptures, right? So when we take wisdom from scriptures and when we try to put it into today's life with right examples and right approach, it becomes more stronger than a person trying to design some solution and trying to propagate it, right? So today we'll deal with anger management in a very, very deep way, just not about emotion as an anger, right? So with no more time wasted, I'm going to start the presentation. Okay. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you can see this person shouting on the phone, right? Anger management, anger comes, right? So I'm just going to read, like always, the brief about this presentation. Anger is one emotion that removes all good qualities from you. You not only forget all the good things the opposite party has done to you, you'll end up hurting the person beyond. 1 second, I think I have to mute somebody. You can hear some background voice. Okay, yeah. So you not only forget all the good things the opposite party has done to you, you'll end up hurting the person beyond what he deserves. If a person cannot control his anger, he might lose all his life's name and reputation in one moment of uncontrolled anger. The seminar aims to explain the root causes behind the emotion of anger and how one can control it before it does irreparable damage, right? So this is the aim of the seminar. We want to explain the root causes, why exactly anger comes, right? I'm sure all of us are subject to anger some or the other day in some or the other way, right? So today's seminar is also important from your work perspective because you're not a machine when you come to the office, right? You're not a machine. You are a person, and a person has to control his emotions in order to be effective at workplace. You can't say that, oh, I'll not. Okay, you will get angry. It's not like you will not get angry, but how do you manage that anger? It's not an anger removal program. It's an anger management program, right? So anger is a natural emotion of our body, of our mind, of our intelligence, and how we manage it is what matters, right? So there are couple of quotes I would want to say. This is by a great saint in India. His name is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now, he has mentioned the greatness of a person is determined by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. Right? It's a profound statement, actually. Greatness of a person is determined by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. See, when you're not angry, everything is going on nice with you, then it's very easy to remain calm, right? It's very easy to remain calm. And you can give lectures on anger management also, like I'm giving right now, like anger management lecture. But when there is a provoking situation in the house or in the workplace, how you behave at that time, can you control your anger? Can you control your emotions? Can you control your thoughts? Is what determines your greatness. Your greatness is not about what position you are. You can be a project manager, program manager, delivery manager, vice president, executive vice president, whatever you might be, right? You can be a clerk, a chaprasi, or a security guard, or a gatekeeper, or anything you might be. But if you cannot control your anger, then you lose everything. That's very, very dangerous. We have to learn how do we do that. Right? So that makes this seminar very, very important for everybody, not only for youngsters, but also for having this camera in a little different place. It's too much high to me. Yeah. So it applies to everybody, right? It applies to. Does anyone in the seminar attending right now feel it doesn't apply to you? Anyone here feels you never
Yes.
feel angry, and I don't think this topic applies to me. I can make you angry in 5 minutes. And then you'll tell, oh, I think it applies to me, right? Or your wife and husband will come and make a comment, you'll become angry. Just a matter of 5 minutes. So let's not even get there. So this topic very much applies to everybody, right? So how you react during that anger makes you great, or how you badly react makes you a person that you are, right? How you react in provoking situations, when something provokes you, that is what determines, right? So let's see the next another nice proverb that is given here. You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger, right? This is Buddha, Lord Buddha himself is saying. What is he saying? You will not be punished for your anger, but you will be punished by your own anger. Your own anger will punish you, right? So now I'm going to set a context in terms of what all we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss what is anger. Briefly, we all know what is anger. But briefly understand anger and its emotions. We'll understand that. And symptoms of anger. How do we know if somebody is angry or not? It's very easy to know, right? If somebody is angry, you can very lazy know, but we just try to put it forward. Then causes and effects of anger we'll discuss. Then solution from anger to peace, that also we'll discuss. And some Q&A, right? So let's overcome now, right? Anger. Can you see these two hands here? One hand with a mouth and one hand with a ear, shouting at each other. So how do we overcome this anger? Anybody on the call, before I go ahead, any other expectations or thoughts you have on anger? Or what do you feel about this seminar? Do you think it's important for you? Before we go forward.
Yes, it is important, sir.
No expectations?
Whatever the points you have mentioned, I think it's covered a lot.
Okay. Okay, let's go forward. So what is anger? So can anyone tell, what is anger? How do you define anger? Before I explain what is anger. Can some of you come on your screens, if that's okay with you? Yeah. Let's make it more active and more, discussion oriented session. Right? And it helps when if I see this triangles in front of me, it's difficult for me to connect whether even you are hearing it or not. If you don't mind, please, I don't mind what your background is. You can be anywhere.
Anger is an emotion.
Okay. And I cannot become angry because I'm taking anger management session. So it's your chance to exploit my situation.
Anger is a feeling, expression.
Go ahead, come on, show up your cameras. Let's discuss for a minute. What is anger according to you?
Anger is an
anger?
emotion.
It's an expression of feeling.
Actually, I think it is an expression of negative feelings.
Vani, your phone is mute or I don't know.
No, it's mute only, sir.
I
I think it is a emotion which we express a negative feelings. I think.
Lost my display here. 1 second.
Extreme expression of frustration.
Once again. Hello?
Expressing your emotions in a negative way, I think so, sir.
Seems to be some problem on my end. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah? For some reason, I'm not able to hear you all. Give me 1 minute. Let me just correct that. Select a microphone. Okay. What is this? Yeah,
Can you hear us, sir?
I can hear you now. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you can hear me too. Yeah, go ahead. What is anger? What comes to your mind when you say anger?
Expressing our emotions in a negative way.
Yeah, anger is a negative thing. Yes. Okay. Any other thoughts? Anybody?
Extreme expression of stress or frustration.
Extreme expression of stress or frustration. Yeah, very nice. Very. Who told this?
Ravichandra from sales.
Yeah. Thank you, Ravi Shankar. Anybody else?
Uncontrolled emotion.
Uncontrolled emotion. Yes, anger is one of the uncontrolled emotions. It controls us. We don't control the anger. Anger controls us. Yeah, that's the right one. So let's quickly go through some universal definition. Anger is a momentary madness. As per one speaker is saying, anger is a momentary madness. So you control your passion or it will control you. Right? Like you also said, it's uncontrolled emotion. Anger is normal human emotion. That one thing also you should agree. If somebody has become angry, don't try to put him behind bars. It's a normal thing. And you don't have to be shameful that you become angry also. No, you don't have to feel sad or bad or depressive that you're becoming angry. It's a normal human emotion. Like you laugh, like you feel happy, you also feel angry. Anger is nothing to be regretful about. What you do when you're angry, you should be regretful about, but not the emotion of anger itself, right? What you do with it is what that counts, right? Anger is a normal. Shift gear, step back and breathe. Aristotle is saying, anyone can become angry. Now, this is a very nice quote, so I kept it here. Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person at the right time for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everyone's power, and that is not easy, right? So that's the amazing part. So you can use anger as a tool. You can use anger as a tool when you use it on the right person at the right time in the right way, right? At the right time. So when all these things come into place, then that anger emotion can be used and it can be useful to you also. But even if one of them is not right, you're using it at the wrong time or at the wrong place on the wrong person in the wrong way, then the whole thing goes reverse, right? So this emotion is very difficult to handle, but when it's handled properly, it's a very positive thing also, right? It's a very positive thing also. Okay, let's go. Yeah. So no one makes you angry. You decide to use anger as a response, right? So it's not like somebody came and he's trying to make you angry. Anger, nobody can make you. It's you who become angry, right? So don't need to blame anyone. Anger is an emotion that you can control. Now, anger arises from Agnya Chakra, or in the medical terms, from orbitofrontal cortex. This part of brain deals with rewards and punishments, right? This part. If you can see me in the screen, the place between your eyebrows, just above your eyebrows, that is where anger comes out. And who is that one Devata in Hindu scriptures who took birth from that anger? Do you know? Anybody?
Lord Shiva, sir.
Lord
Shiva.
Yes, Lord Shiva. So he actually took his appearance into the existence came from the anger itself, anger of Brahma. Brahma became angry, and that is when Lord Shiva came out. It's not like Brahma is his father, but the way he appeared is through the emotion of anger, right? Right between the eyebrows, it comes out. And that is where the third eye also sits, right? The eye of Pralaya. Yeah. Anger can tell a lot about ourselves. What we are when we are angry is actually the true self of us, right? Because when you're angry, you're ready to exploit, shout, do anything in your own interest. So that shows your true personality. When you're not angry, it's very difficult to find what you are. But when you're angry, how you react to it is what determines, right? And there are many such definitions, right? Now, anger is one letter short of danger, right? So if you just add a D in front of anger, it becomes danger. It's so clear about it. So if you are becoming angry, if you're not able to control your anger, that means you are putting yourself into a dangerous situation. Now, let's try to understand. Yeah, let's try to understand how anger feels, right? I know we know, but I'm just going to spend a little bit of time how anger feels. You get muscle tension, right? When you are too angry, your neck muscle starts spraining, and sometimes you also get accelerated heartbeat, right? And some people when they feel angry, they have like a knot in the stomach. Something is like tied in the stomach. I don't know if you felt that. I feel this when I am angry, and your changes in breathing, right? Suddenly you stop your breath or you start breathing too heavy, right? When you're angry, or you're trembling or shaking. Some people, when they are angry, they start, trembling, like as if they don't know what they're going to do. Their hands are shaking, their mouth is shaking. Some of them, their mouth go dry, right? They get goosebumps. They have flushed face, like completely intolerant kind of a look. Changes in facial expressions, definitely. They're happily angry. Sometimes you look happy, but you're angry, right? When you're angry on a disgust, right? So here Buddha, one more comment is, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with its intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who's getting burned, right? So when you're angry, anger is like that hot coal. You want to throw it on someone, but as long as it is with you, you are the one who is going to suffer, because it is going to burn you as well, right? So holding on to anger is a very dangerous thing. Of course, in Bible, it is mentioned, they see in Bible that thou shall not kill, but is a quote in the Bible. It says, I am telling you that anyone who is so much as angry with a brother or sister is guilty of a murder. So Bible says, if you are angry, that itself means that you have murdered somebody. It is so sinful to be angry. Of God is saying taking anger out on some is just as sinful as murder, right? So you might be thinking, am I exaggerating too much on anger? No, I'm not exaggerating. Today, anger is such a big problem in society, even in offices, which we'll discuss now. If you don't control it, if you don't know how to manage it, then you're going to put yourself in very big, troublesome situations. So you can see today's low tolerance levels makes anger even more dangerous, right? How many of you feel that people are less tolerant these days? Do you feel like that? What is tolerance? What is tolerance? Let's try to define tolerance for a minute. What do you mean by tolerance? Can some of you please, on your screens, I'm really requesting, it's like if you give a seminar or discuss when you all have shut off your cameras, and I don't even know whether you're hearing it or you're there or not there, or yeah, it helps, when I see people in front of me. Yeah. Please go ahead. As I said, don't mind your backgrounds. I'm sure you're attending the course, so why don't we make it feel that we are in the office? Yeah, I can see some of you. Yeah. So what is tolerance? How do you define tolerance? Ability to withhold?
It's basically the ability of self-control. So how
It's
much you can control.
Yes, it's about self-control, right? Yeah. So how many of you feel that these days people are losing tolerance? Or is it a irrelevant statement, me saying that people are losing tolerance? How many of you feel that people are very tolerant these days?
Less tolerance actually.
Prasad is saying nobody is tolerant. I mean, many people are not tolerant. How many agree with him?
Yes, sir, I agree.
It depends upon the people who is surrounded by.
Yeah. So Raghu, what are you saying? Depends upon.
Depends upon the people who is surrounded by you.
Okay. Okay. So see, I'll tell you, tolerance means you have a desire and you need some time to fulfill the desire. And you need to be tolerant for the time to pass by so you can fulfill the desire. These days, the patience levels are so low that they want everything at that very moment. At that very moment, right? I remember this instance of this gentleman. Once I went to buy a earpod in Bajaj Electronics. No, not Bajaj. I think it was Reliance. What was the mall in Reliance on Inorbit Mall? In the beginning of Inorbit Mall, on the left side, there was one electronic shop. I forgot. It was Bajaj or Reliance. I don't remember. Anyways, one of them. So let's say it's Reliance. So I went there to buy a earpod, and there I saw around 8:30. It was almost the closing time of the store, right? Around 8:30. One person with his wife and a child, he came to that mall, and he was wearing like a blazer. I'm sure he's some delivery manager or some program manager in some IT company, frustrated with his life. So he came with his wife. So his wife is choosing a fridge, right? Now they wanted to buy a fridge and she's going and searching for the fridge. The child is almost like around, say, 7 years, something like 7 years. And this person, he was telling his wife, search, whatever you want, we'll take, like that. He was like feeling himself in a very empowered place. Obviously, he's getting a big packet salary and he wants to show off, that he can afford anything, whatever. Now, his wife went and chose a big fridge. It's like that two-door fridge, the big two-door fridges that you get. So she chose the two-door fridge. And then he asked, he called the manager. He called, so who is the sales boy here? Like that, he was commanding, as if he's the owner of that store, So he was commanding, who is that sales boy here? Come here, like that. So I happened to stand right there. So I was seeing what's going on. The poor sales boy came, some guy, in the mall, and he said, yes, sir, what can I do for you? He said, this fridge, how much is it? He said, sir, it's 2.4 lakhs, something like that. 2.4 lakhs fridge. I was like, boy, 2.4 lakhs? I would never think of buying a fridge for that price. And this person, he said, okay, here is my credit card. Go. I want to buy it. And I was like, whoa, what a decision. 2.4 lakhs. He's just saying, with a credit card. And then the real story started. Is that sales boy told, sir, it's 8:30. So I will issue the invoice, everything. We'll deliver it tomorrow. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll send it to the godown. Now his real frustration, being a manager, came out, right? Manager in some company. Maybe nobody in that company is listening to him. So he wants to show off in front of his wife, right? So he started, how dare you tell me that, it will be supplied tomorrow when you have clearly written here, same day delivery and this and that. He started. That poor sales boy told, sir, it's already 8:30, sir. Now, which van should I send? Who will come and deliver? It will take some time. You'll get it, sir. Tomorrow afternoon you'll get it. No, I want it now. Call your manager. I want to speak to whoever is the store in charge, like that. They started demanding. I don't know if you've seen such nuts in the market outside. I encountered such people many times. Like, he started showing his whole entire authority as if he's the head of that store or something. I want to meet the store manager. Get him here. There is no customer service. Maybe his customer is shouting in his office on him, so he wants to show that frustration on as a customer in the shop. And he's going, call the store manager. I want the fridge right now. I was going on, and his wife, poor lady, she was standing there and like, it's okay, why tomorrow they'll bring it. She said, you wait now. He was telling his wife, you wait now. I know how to deal with these people. I know how to get it done. Like that he was going. And the one person who was witnessing this whole incident was that small child. The small child who was 7 years old, right? And he was standing right between the sales guy and his father. He was looking like this and he was looking like this. His father is shouting. The sales boy is like, sir, sir, sir. He's seeing both the corners, right? Now tell me, what is the message as a father he has sent to his child? What is the message he has sent? All of you, come on. I want at least 5-6 messages coming out of all of you.
Anger,
Arrogance.
frustrations.
Yes. The child
Not
is
giving less,
huh?
respecting the others.
No, he's not giving respect to others, right? As a father, he's not giving respect to others. What else?
Develop superiority complex.
Superiority complex, that he is special, right? My father is in command, he can, even I can do something like that. Child might feel, right? Tomorrow he'll go to a toy store, he'll say, I want this toy right now. I say, no, call the store manager. Because my father also did that. Isn't it? Yeah. What other message? What is a key message, that key value that his father is unfortunately teaching to his son?
Bad
Arrogance.
manners.
You can achieve a thing by anger.
Bad manners.
Bad manners. That you can achieve anything by anger. Yes. Yes. Come on, folks, open your videos here. I mean, it's very difficult to discuss. I'm asking this the third time.
Not understanding others' concept, means others' problem.
Yeah. So not understanding their situation.
He's teaching how to be impatient to his son. Right? Impatient, no tolerance, right? Now tomorrow his son will also become like that, right? Completely no tolerance. Just imagine that such father has given that kind of qualities to his child, and this child somehow passes his engineering, becomes IIT or ISB or whatever, and then he joins Lauren Corporation. Right? Can anybody here work with such a fellow? In the team, who doesn't have any tolerance for anything. I want it right now. I think I need it right now. I deserve to get it right now. You better give it to me right now. Do you think you can work with him? He might be ISB, he might be a engineer, or he might be a MBA, or he might be a manager, he might be anything. But can anyone work with him?
No.
No. So I also want to tell you all, your qualifications or your degrees or whatever, your resume in summary, your profile in summary, is only useful for you to enter the office, not to stay in the office. Right? To stay in the office, you need to be a good human being, and you need to control your emotions. Right? And that is when you are rewarded and you are recognized in the office. Right? So we should remember that, and whatever actions we are doing, how much we are influencing others. Like every manager, if he misbehaves with his subordinates, if he starts shouting on the subordinate and he thinks that he has authority to shout on the subordinates, if he does that, what is he doing? He is not only spoiling his image as a manager, he is also creating horrible managers for future. Right? Because those subordinates will see that quality in their manager and think that, oh, I think when I become manager, I think I can also shout on others. Isn't it? So there is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita. It's yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tat evataro jana. Sayat pranamam kurte lokas tadanvartate. It means whatever action a great person does, the common people follow. Yad yad acharati shreshthas. If you are a shrestha, shrestha means if you are a great person. Acharati, actions, acharan. Whatever you do, you affect others. Right? Whatever great person does, common people follow. As simple as that. So you have a great responsibility of passing the right message to the next generation, right? Whether it is your office, or whether it's your children in home, or anybody, there is a very big important. So low tolerance levels makes anger more dangerous. People who don't have tolerance, such people, when they become anger, then it's even more dangerous, right? Look at this situation. 88% of American men and women between age of 20 to 29 believe that they have a soulmate who is waiting for them. And 59% of the women under the age of 18 end in divorce within 15 years. Right? So many divorce rate, high divorce rate. Love at first sight, divorce at first fight. Right? As simple as that. Today it's becoming such a common thing. Look at this. Over 25 million female fetuses have been aborted in US since 1973. How many? 25 million. So let's talk about the real war on women. People talk about, women abuse, women this, women that, murders, wars. Is this something Is it alarming? I mean, tell me one war where 25 million people are killed, right? 25 fetuses are aborted. That's equal to murder. It's equal to murder, because you got into a relationship without thinking. Both male and female, both of them are responsible for this. And just out of anger that they can't deal with the child, they go ahead and abort the child. So this is about, the effects of not having tolerance, right? Now, how long we stay at work? People who stayed in a job for less than 2 years, 16%. People who stayed in the same job over 4 years. This is about 90 to 2000, right? 55 to 60% people stayed in the job for more than 4 years. But now, 2000 present is a little old stat actually. People who stayed for more than 2 years are more than 4 years are 30% now in the industry, right? And I'm sure in 2020, this is nothing more than 10%. Look at your own company right now, wherever you are, including Lorhan. How many people are leaving? And how fast are they leaving? And what good are they doing by leaving? Right? It's just uncontrolled emotion sometimes. Just uncontrolled emotion. I can't deal with this. I'll leave it. No, there are many other ways to handle it. There are many other ways to look at it, right? But it's just emotion that is uncontrolled, right? So you can go ahead and resign. So people resign. Then they regret. Now look at this example. This is a true incident. There is a child who plays video games, right? Can you see this bloodshed kind of a video game? This is actually a video game. It almost looks like reality when you're shooting somebody in the video game, right? Almost looks like reality. It is that bad. And children are playing this thing, right? And this person goes, this boy, he goes and shoots his teacher. Point blank. Because there was a small argument in the class, right? He goes and just shoots. Uncontrolled anger. But where is it coming from? He got all the practice done for how to shoot in the video game, right? In the video game, he got all the practice. He doesn't have tolerance. He lost it, and his anger came and he shot. Right? There's so many such incidents that happen. At least I'm happy that not happening in India, but West is very famous for that. Effects of uncontrolled anger, of course, many effects. It blinds, right? We cannot solve any problem when we are angry. We are blinded of our consequences. Man kills his wife, chops body into 3 pieces. Can you imagine somebody doing that? And it happened where, right? I mean, this is some incident that happened in Delhi. But have you heard of the incident that happened near, what is that place? Botanical Garden? Yeah? Just near Botanical Garden, a couple of years ago, there was a bag found, there's a bag. And people, it was like smelling. And people were thinking, what is there in that bag? What is, and then one person dared to go and open that bag. It had different pieces of a person. I mean, how would anybody do that? And what kind of anger would make anybody do that? I can't imagine, right? Where are we going as a society? Where are we going as human beings? This is a very alarming thing. You should think. If one person can chop off somebody into multiple pieces, what kind of education are we getting these days, and what kind of people are we becoming day after day? Forget about you being in a software company or or a head of a company or a businessman. It doesn't matter, right? What is the society that we are living into, and how important it is to educate people how to control their angers and emotion, right? Now there are many news like that. I don't have to tell you. So many. This person, he chopped his wife's head and he took it to the police station saying, "I've killed my wife. Here is her head." It came in the news. Horrible things, right? This child, she drew something on the car, and somebody came and beated the girl. She almost died, right? Just because it is. And do you know this Deependra and family? Do you know this family? Have you heard of this family anywhere? Deependra and family. Anybody? No? Come on. This incident shook the entire world. Who is he? He is the king's son. Which country? Nepal. Now you remember? How long back that happened, that incident? Maybe 10 years back, or I don't know, 12 years back? What happened? This boy, this prince of the house, he loved a girl. And his father told, I'm rejecting, you can't marry that girl. And they are the dynasty of Nepal. Nepal, was run by this dynasty family. In one night, he killed the entire family. He killed the entire family. Nepal's royal dynasty family is finished in one night because he could not control his anger. And at the end, he also killed himself. How many know this incident? Have you heard? It's one of the brutal nights. See, we all only think about this in TV, right? TV, some serial or some English movie, some serial murderer. This is a thing that happened in the Nepal's, like Nepal's royal family. I mean, that is like the ruling family of the country. And the boy just goes and kills everybody, sisters, brothers, parents. He didn't leave anybody because the entire family was objecting his marriage. So he went in and killed everybody. And at the end, he killed himself. Right? Act of anger. How dangerous. So how educated you are has got nothing to do with your ability to control anger. Right? Anger is the enemy of non-violence, and pride is a monster that swallows it up. Right? So when pride comes, anger automatically comes. If you're too proud of yourself for what you are, for your qualifications, anger will automatically come. Right? So we should be very careful of pride. So it blinds you, right? So these all people are blinded by anger. Beating a small girl to death is what? Killing somebody and making pieces is what? Completely blinded. Sickness. Anger has a large negative effect on brain as it blocks the blood vessels, right? Sickness. It completely is so dangerous. I'm telling you, if you don't control your anger, you will die at a very, very young age. As simple as that. Poisonous. How many of you know anger poisons our consciousness and also our bodily fluids? Okay. How many of you know that your bodily fluids become poison when you become angry? Right? When you become angry, don't swallow your own saliva. You will fall sick. Do you know that? When you're really, really angry, don't do this. Don't swallow. Spit it out. And if you're really, really angry, and for any reason, if you spit it out your saliva, if an ant comes and licks that saliva, the ant will die. Do you know that? You produce poison in your own body. This body produces poison. And when you're shouting at somebody on his face, just shouting at somebody on his face, the poisonous gases come out of your face, out of your mouth, and it goes on the person's face, and he completely becomes shocked. The opposite person can even die. It happened. One of my friends, he lives in Lake Breeze, Aparna Lake Breeze apartments. He had an argument with one other person. He went to that house, and as soon as he opened the door, he shouted on him. That person inside the door shouted. He was so angry. The emotion was so empowered with negativity. It just flew on his face. He fainted there. He just fainted. And he said, I didn't know what happened. So I felt like something just hit me, and I couldn't control my mind. So don't think anger is just an emotion that is within you, right? In a hospital in Bombay, a small infant child died. The mother brought a small infant child, 3 months old child. She brought the child to the hospital, right? And when the child was brought to the hospital, the doctor, he has some good spiritual background also, the doctor. So he examined and he said, your child is poisoned. Your child is poisoned. And, the person didn't know, the woman didn't know, who can poison my child? I just milked him. He was with me and suddenly he died. And as soon as the doctor heard that you gave him your breast milk, she said, yes. And then the doctor asked, was there any fight or argument in your house? Was there any fight or argument in your house? And she said, yes. Just some time back, me and my husband are going through some very difficult relationship. We are actually contemplating to divorce. Just some time back, we had a big anger. And the doctor asked the final question. Did you feed your child when you were fighting with your husband? She said yes. And the doctor said, you poisoned your own child. Of course, there was a different way of saying it. Her own breast milk became poisonous for her child. Can you imagine what anger can do? This is a medical case, right? It's a medical case. Direct, it proves. That is why in our Vedic society, a woman is always kept happy, especially before pregnancy and after pregnancy. How many of you know that after the child takes birth, the woman is asked to go to her parents' house and stay there for at least 6 to 8 months, right? And feed the child, breastfeed the child, right? Why? Why all these customs are there? Why these calculations are there? That before the birth and after the birth, the woman has to go and stay with her parents because they don't want even a single incident of anger. They don't want even a single incident of anger coming into the woman's life because it can affect the child. Don't think it will only kill the child. It can give diseases to the child. If the woman is angry and she's feeding her child, it can even give diseases to the child. It is that dangerous emotion. Anger is a very, very dangerous thing. Right? A lot of people underestimate, what anger can do. Like I told about that hospital, like somebody shouting on it, right? Or somebody eating, a lot of things, emotional, right? Depression, suicide, psychological problems. These are all. Have you heard of this islands called Solomon Islands? Actually, Amir Khan tells about this in one of the movies, Tare Zameen Par. Do you remember that example that he quotes? How many have seen this movie, Tare Zameen Par?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
a good
have
movie.
seen.
You can watch that. It's a very good movie, very well made movie. Right? He says in the Solomon Island, when they have to cut a tree, or remove a tree, they don't go and cut the tree. All the village comes and makes a circle around the tree and they abuse the tree. They say bad things about the tree. Is like, you are the worst tree, you are a useless tree, you are good for nothing, you're blocking the pathway, because of you we are going into drought, you are a useless tree, like that. They abuse the tree like anything, right? And one day they'll see after that abuse, after a few days, the tree starts, that bark starts falling apart, leaves start drying apart, and within few months the tree dies. Can you imagine? It happens in Solomon Islands. You can go and browse on internet how they kill a tree just by shouting at it. Can you imagine if in a relationship you are shouting at your partner or your child for too long, you can even kill that person with your words. Your words are more dangerous than your physical abuse. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in 16th chapter, 21st shloka, Trividham narakeshayadam dwaram nashanam atmana kama krodha tatha lobhas tasmad etat trayam tyajet. What does it mean? There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give up these, for they lead to degradation of the soul. Right? These 3 emotions are very dangerous. What are those 3 emotions? Lust, anger, and greed. Greed, we all know. Greed means you're trying to, you're greedy that you should get more than others. Right? That is greed. Anger, you have known now. What is anger? What is lust? What is the meaning of lust? Lust means self-centered enjoyment. Self-centered enjoyment. Meaning, I should be happy at any cost. That is lust. Right? I should be happy. So one second. I have to take this call. I'm sorry about that. It's an important office call. 1 minute. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, so what is lust? Lust means you want to enjoy, or you want to be the center of enjoyment. When you don't keep God in the center, when you try to become the center, that is lust. Right? Say I want to eat, there is an apple, right? And I like apple. I want to eat that apple. That is lust. But when I say, yeah, I will share this apple with my family and I'll eat along with my family, or I'll offer it to God and I'll take it from God and eat as prasadam, that is called love. Love means when you care for others and you share with others. Lust means when you don't care about others and you want only for yourself, that is lust. Right? Now, this is the definition as per the scriptures, right? So, these three emotions will lead you to hell. What are those? Lust, anger, and greed. Kama, Krodha, Tata, Lobha. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. These three things. Now, let's go to the next slide. We talked about extreme effects of anger, right? Now, let's also ask the question, sincere question to ourselves. Do we get angry? How many of you here get angry? Or how often you get angry? Do we ask that question to ourselves? Can you share can you share what do you feel about yourself when you feel angry? Anybody? Like I feel very, very regretful that I don't want to be angry, and I feel very exhausted whenever I feel angry. Some energy is drained out of me. The positive energy is drained out of me. Like that I feel. Anybody else?
So I usually get a
Lost
headache.
the control sometime.
Hmm?
We lost the control sometime and show the angry. And after some time, we realize it and we go back and when you are thinking ourselves, we definitely feel it. Shame.
Yeah, we feel ashamed also. Why was I angry like that? Why did I do like that? Yeah. Anybody else?
So I keep silent when I get angry.
You become silent when you become angry. Does that help?
Actually, I don't know, but I don't speak in anger, which will hurt others. That's why I keep silent.
Actually, even our ancestors also tell, elders also tell that when two people are angry, one person should just calm down. Both the people can't proceed at the same time. One of you has to calm down. Silence may not mean the right answer. Total silence can even trigger more anger on the opposite person. But you can acknowledge what the person is saying and calm it down. Yeah, I understand why you're shouting. Just accept it, calm it down, and then later on you can discuss and negotiate. Right? Yeah. So do you get angry? Of course. So let's see some situations, just few situations, just for our discussion's sake. I've listed down a few of them. Situation number 1, stuck in the traffic. What is the emotion of anger that you come out? What kind of anger comes out when you're stuck in the traffic? How do you react? Come on, treat it like a small workshop. I want you to answer. How do you react when you're stuck in the traffic?
Third picture.
Huh?
Some people blow horn, they honk.
Somebody's honking, somebody's shouting, somebody's crying, right? Irritated. Basically, we get irritated, right? So shout at oneself or honk. But the best thing is relax. Just accept the situation and cool down with some music or good talk, right? Put on some music, sing some Kishore Kumar songs or Ghantasala songs, or or nicely, or have a nice conversation with your friend. You can do a lot of things when you're stuck in the traffic. Last minute work assignment given by boss. This is more applicable, right, to all of you? Yeah, last minute work assignment given by the boss. What kind of anger you get and how do you react?
Pressure.
Yes. And what is your reaction to it? Okay, you got it now. Last minute, Friday evening, you got it.
Not again. Not again.
Not again. Yeah, annoyed. We become annoyed. Annoyed is a near to good term. You get annoyed. Refuse. Now, some people refuse it once and leave. Sir, resignation. Khatam. Let's end it here today. Finish. Right? Or give an unreasonable time estimate to the complete it. Or just say, you by when you want it by Monday, it will take 1 month. Go do whatever you want to do. Another way of reacting. But a person with a little controlled mind, what he'll do is he'll break the work based on priority and delegate to approach to accomplish. Right? The moment the boss gives work, see, obviously the boss also is giving work because there is something big urgency behind it, and something has come up in the last minute. So the work came to you. So one way of you reacting to it is you can break that work into several work objects. Whole thing doesn't have to finish, right? Some part of it need to be finished now. Some part can be done later also. In most of the cases, you can prioritize what needs to be done. And sometimes you can even delegate. You can tell your boss, sir, can I take help of XYZ? Or sir, can we also include somebody else to do this? Can we break the work and achieve it? Or you can also, sir, can you also help me in finishing some part of it? You can discuss that depending on the priority, right? So this is a smart way of handling it. The same angry situation, you handle it in a different way. Misplace something in the house, especially your keys, right? You misplaced it, or some document in the office, you misplaced it. You're searching, you don't find it. What kind of anger do you get and how do you react to it?
Frustration.
Frustration. Frustration on ourselves that again I misplaced it.
Action, more tension.
More tension. Yeah. Frustration, yeah. That's the right word. Frustration. So you throw all the house around to find your thing. Right? You just go and pull out everything from all drawers and just throw everywhere until you find that thing. Or you start blaming your wife or your son or your husband. Right? Immediately. You only did it like that. Most of the time, I misplace this. I misplace this in my house. Most of the time. I don't know where I keep it, but my children, they get frustrated every time I ask them, go find it for me. Right? It's so difficult to find. They get frustrated. Yeah. But otherwise, relax, accept that it is lost. And it needs to be searched and it takes more time. Just accept that it will take more time. Abhi nahi milega. It will take some time. If you just accept that to yourself, you can calm down. Right? Something breaks while using it unintentionally. Most lovable object on the planet. What is it? Your mobile phone.
Oh, you have a mobile phone.
Right? That was a spontaneous answer, right? Yeah.
We'll cry.
Yeah, like totally disappointed. Blame it on others. Cry for the loss. But relax. What is gone was meant to be gone. So you can teach a lesson to yourself to be careful next time. Right? Just be careful next time. Yes, you have done it. It's a mistake that happened. Let's forget it. Actual is crossing budget. You have spent more than your salary. You realize that you spend more than what you earn. What will you do?
Tense, yeah.
Tension.
Right? Depressed. You become depressed. Oh my God. How could I spend more? Right? You shout and blame for everything. You shout and blame everybody. Or you become very picky for everything. See, the moment you spend more than what you have, and your wife comes and says, I think we need to buy milk. Why milk? Why should we buy milk? Why is milk needed? You become very picky on essential things also because out of anger, right? When you become angry, even for important things, you'll start rejecting it because you somehow spend more than what you budgeted, right? So that's what happens. So other than that is relax. Think about what can be reversed, what can be returned, how you can bring back that money, or you can prioritize your expenses again, right? Some of the examples. Let's take one, few more. Dealing with incompetent work. Your subordinate has not done the work properly. What do? You'll come out of the computer like this and or try to kill your subordinate. What do you do?
Guide them.
Shouting will not work, but you shout. Point all the faults and punish the person. Remove the person for all future work. That's what is it. Most of the people reaction. But determine the root cause of incompetence and take the corrective action. Why that person could not do what he, I mean, is it negligence or does he need any help? Blame for something you have not done. How many times it happens? You are blamed for something that you have not done. At home, it happens more than office. Revolt. You immediately revolt. How can you tell this to me? How can you blame? How can you tell me that I have done it? Right? So refusal at every statement and revolt. Tell the whole world about the injustice. You go and tell the whole world that these people are misunderstanding me. I have not done it. Whole office will know what is your problem. I don't know if you've seen some people, they go and tell the whole office whenever anything wrong happens to them. Someone overtaking in queue. You're standing in a queue and someone just overtakes. What is your reaction? You talk loudly, immediately. Stop! Forcefully, whoever is crossing, right? Immediately you start shouting. Other day, I took my parents to COVID vaccine, right? So my father is like 78 years old. And it so happened that when he was entering that line, he did not see that there was already somebody standing a little in that line, but a little back. As soon as he entered that line, not knowing that he is actually entering in between, 4 or 5 people started shouting at him from the behind. How can you do that? We are also standing here. We are also retired people. We are also old people. You are not the only old one there. We also need COVID vaccine. How can you enter in between? Blah, blah, blah. I immediately told my father, you better come out of the line. Otherwise 4 or 5 Buddhas will die with heart attack only now. Forget about vaccine. These people die of tension. How could you enter the line? Right? It was such a bad situation. I don't know if you face such situations outside. Someone delaying the work of others. Right? He is delaying the work of others because of his own. Right? Insult. You start insulting that person. Push people to the perform. Like, I can't believe you. But what you can do is you can just reallocate. If somebody is not able to do what he's supposed to do, you can reallocate, reassign, or you pick up the keyboard and start doing it yourself. Right? Fix the situation, not the person. So amazing thing about this world is there are fast people, there are slow people, but fast people are always frustrated because they have to chase the slow people. Isn't it? There are fast people, there are slow people, but fast people are the ones who are always frustrated because they're all the time chasing slow people. Abhaiya, chalo, 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 jaldi chalo. So phases of anger, right? Phases of anger. Different people have different phases of anger. Shout, revolt, irritated, insult, frustrated, depressed, annoyed, disappointed. You talk loudly, right? These are all the different phases of anger for different situations. And we all have faced this in our life. We're not speaking anything alien here. Let's talk about few incidents from the history, right? How anger made people take wrong decisions, right? You also can tell some examples. Can anybody tell any examples from the history where in the past some great people have made wrong decisions by becoming angry? Once again, please on your cameras if you can, so that we can feel that we are part of the class. Can you share any historic incidents? No? Everybody in the history never got angry?
There are so many examples in Ramayana also, Vali due to anger.
Yes, very nice.
And
due to anger, he...
Ravana also, like a little bit of, he challenges himself and dig his own grave.
Yes. Right. Thank you, Sujana. Anybody else? Any historical incidents where the person did it and he felt very regretful? Everybody told you, you've done a wrong thing. Everybody. Just out of anger, he did it. From the history. So let me give you, for example, Ashwadhama, the great warrior, right? What he did, out of anger, uncontrolled anger, he went and killed the 5 sons of Pandavas in the night when they were sleeping. A Kshatriya would never do that. Somebody like Ashwadhama would never do that. He was not a coward. He was a very strong warrior also, Ashwadhama, the son of Drona. But out of anger, he went and killed the 5 sons of Pandavas. Just imagine, children being killed in their bed. And that too, they're all warriors. They should be ideally killed in the war, but he did that. And his incident was so gross and so regrettable that when Duryodhan got to know about it, Duryodhan himself is, somebody on the wrong side of the dharma. And Ashwadhama is to work for Duryodhan. When Ashwadhama went and told, I killed these 5 sons of Pandavas, of course, he actually wanted to kill Pandavas, but by mistake he killed those 5 sons. But he was not regretful. But Duryodhan said, what you have done is more disgraceful than anybody has done anything in so far. Even disrobing Draupadi was not as disgraceful as you killing children in the bed. I hate to call you as my part of my army, like that Duryodhan told. Even Duryodhan could not digest it. That how could you kill the 5 sons of Pandavas? Right? That is Ashwadhama, one of the incidents. Another incident is, of course, Shishupal, right? Losing his anger. He lost his anger. He started abusing everybody in the Rajya Sabha. When Krishna was chosen as for the Agra Puja. When Krishna was chosen that he is the person who should be worshipped first after the Rajsurya Agnya, Shishupal could not tolerate that. And he started shouting. And by the way, who was he shouting on? He was not shouting on Krishna. He was shouting on all other warriors. He was shouting on Bhishma. He was shouting on Yudhishthira. He was shouting on Drona. He was shouting on Kripacharya. Why was he doing that? Because when somebody shouts at you, you can tolerate. But when somebody shouts at the people you love, you cannot tolerate. Right? So he was trying to shout and this and that. But Krishna could tolerate anything because he's Supreme Lord. He can tolerate. He has all the tolerance comes from him only. And actually Krishna was enjoying. Scriptures explain that he was enjoying. See, what he saw in the TV serial is wrong. It is not complete truth. But when you read the scripture, Krishna was not counting 100. Krishna was not even counting. Though he gave a boon that if you cross 100, I'll kill you. But Krishna was not counting. He was very happy that Shishupal is shouting at me. Because when a son shouts at his father doesn't become angry. Father feels that, okay, still he's coming to me only. Right? My son is angry, but he's coming to me only. Same way, Krishna also very happy. But at one point, Krishna realized that all the other people are losing their patience. Bhima is not able to control himself anymore. Because Shishupal is shouting not only on Krishna, he's shouting on the entire dynasty, everybody in the family. He's abusing everybody. Then Bhima was being very angry and Arjuna was becoming very angry. And there was one condition of Rajsurya Agnya. One condition is blood should not fall on the floor until the Yajna is complete. That means blood fell means one of the kings has objected the Rajsurya Agnya being completed, right? So if blood falls on the floor, then the whole Rajsurya Agnya is gone. At that time, when Krishna realized that, oh my God, I am enjoying this, but these all people cannot tolerate. So let me finish this. So then he removed Sudarshan and he left that Sudarshan. And it was the first neck surgery done in such a way that not a single drop of blood fell on the ground. Only Krishna can do that. Right? Then he stopped. Because if even one drop falls, the Rajsurya Agnya is gone. So he cut his head in such a way that not a single drop of blood fell there. Only God can do that. So he could do that. Right? So anger. Shishupal lost his anger and lost his patience and anger. And out of anger, he became the cause of his own death. Dhruva. Dhruva is one other incident where Dhruva was the son of Uttanapad. And Uttanapad is a grandson of Brahma. Is a son of Brahma, sorry. So Dhruva wanted to just sit on his father's lap. Right? I don't know how many of you know this story. He had 2 wives, Suruchi and Sunidhi. So Suruchi was the younger wife and she did not like the elder wife's son. Dhruva was the elder wife's son, Sunidhi's child. And when he came to sit on the lap of his father, the younger wife pushed him down and she told, you don't have any right to sit on the lap of my husband, even though you are his child, but you don't have that right. Your mother lost that right. I am the more favorite wife of your father than your mother. If you want to sit on your father's lap, then you have to take another birth in my womb. You have to take birth in my womb so you can go and sit on your father's lap. Like that. Just imagine a 5-year-old child told such huge statements, and that was Dhruva. Dhruva, the 5-year-old boy. So he got down and then he went to his mother, Sunidhi, and he asked, Mother, this is what happened. I want to sit on the lap of my father. What is this? I'm not being allowed, and I'm being told these kind of harsh words. So his mother did not get angry. His mother told, you can find these answers only from Narayan. You have to go do tapasya for Lord Narayan. And when Narayan appears, then you go and ask him something, whatever that you want to ask. Dhruva said, I will ask for a better kingdom than my grandfather. Not just my father. I'll ask a better kingdom than my grandfather. Now, among the 14 planetary systems, Satyaloka or Brahmaloka is the topmost in this material world. Now, what is higher than that? There is nothing higher than that in the material world. Then you have to go to spiritual world. Then, ultimately, when so what she did, she converted that anger into a determination to achieve something. And a 5-year-old boy became so determined. And Dhruva, the word Dhruva actually means determination. Became so determined that he went and did a tapasya that nobody could do. And just in few months, he could get the darshan of Lord Narayan. And when Lord Narayan came, he asked, what do you want? He said, I don't want anything. After taking a darshan, I don't want anything. But he said, no, you already asked for it. You asked for a kingdom better than your grandfather. I'm going to give you a kingdom which is higher than Brahmaloka, which is called Dhruvaloka. Dhruvaloka is the pendulum of the entire material world, which has one leg in the spiritual world and one leg in the material world. So actually, when you're seeing Dhruva planet, in the night, that is actually part of spiritual world, not in the part of the material world. So you can see what anger can do, right? His mother, his aunt, his second wife of his father became angry, and she did so many wrong things. But he also became angry, but his mother, Sunidhi, directed that anger towards becoming determined to achieve something higher. Don't just become angry, take responsibility, go and ask Narayan. And that anger and the order of his mother, and also Narad Muni helped him on the way by giving him mantra, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that mantra was given. And he became very determined, and he actually achieved seeing the darshan of Narayan, right? So, anger has done good, anger has also done bad. Then Draupadi, right? Duryodhana in anger ordered insulting Draupadi. This is also one of the horrific incidents. Just out of anger. He would have controlled his anger, he would have never ordered such a horrible thing, right? But he did. Now, how many have heard Alexander's anger getting defeated by a saint in Vrindavan? Have you heard this story, anybody? Very nice story. I'll tell you in brief. Alexander, when he conquered, most of the world, and he came to India, so he went to Vrindavan in the North India, Madhya Pradesh, and he was there in Vrindavan, and he saw a saint very happily sitting and meditating in his ashram, in his bhajan kutir. So Alexander sent his servant to go and bring that saint to me. Go and tell that saint that Alexander, the king, is calling him. He can come and meet me. So that soldier went to meet that saint. And he told that saint, hey, Sadhuji, Mr. Alexander is calling you. The great king has come and is calling you, wants to meet you. So the saint told, your king is a servant of my servant. Go tell him. Like that he told. He told, your king Alexander is a servant of my servant. Go. And he laughed. And he just laughed. And the person didn't know how to go and tell this to Alexander. Alexander, very angry person. He can go and kill that saint also. So he went to the Alexander and he told that we went and called him, but he told that, you are his servant, he told. How dare the saint says like that? I've conquered the whole world. Everybody is my servant. How can that fellow say that I am servant of his servant. Then he himself took a sword and he went to kill that saint. He just went in front of that saint. He said, I'm going to kill you now. The saint said, okay, you do whatever you want. But before I kill, I want to understand, how dare you say, make that statement? How can I be the servant of your servant? Right? Can anyone tell the answer before I tell the answer? What did the saint mean when he told Alexander is the servant of his servant? Come on, try. I just want to wake you up after the afternoon nap. I don't know who all is sleeping on, so I only see triangles. What did the saint mean when
Anger,
he
sir.
Huh?
He is also previously anger person.
Okay.
So he is servant of anger. So Alexander also servant of anger. Maybe.
But he said he's a servant of my servant. And he laughed. You are very close to the answer though.
Maybe saint is in control of his anger. But not the Alexander.
Correct. So he said, anger is my servant. And you are the servant of that anger. See how you ran and came to me? You ran and came to you. That means your anger is conquering you, but anger is my servant. See, I am so peaceful. Even when you have come to kill me, I'm not angry. Because I've conquered anger. Right? So then Alexander understood. My God, what nonsense I've done. I thought that I've conquered the whole world, but my anger has conquered me only. Right? Alexander really learned some great wisdom in India. Then he decided to go back. That I can't conquer this country where nobody can be angry. Everybody is so peaceful. Right? And what did anger did to Lord Jesus Christ? Right? People, he only wanted to love people. But what did people do? They crucified him. Just out of anger. They just could not accept his messages. So he was killed. He was literally crucified. The saint spit 108 times and took bath. Right? There are many examples here. I'll just go a little fast. Now, this is a great example of this great saint called Srila Prabhupada. The founder Acharya, recently 120th birthday was celebrated. And even Narendra Modi spoke about him. There was an incident that happened that he had opened a temple in Germany, right? Way back in 1970s. And all the temples in Germany were being broken apart by the Germans. And it came in the newspapers, Hare Krishnas are thieves, like that, it came. So everybody came to this saint, Prabhupada, his disciples, and said, Prabhupada, all our temples are being broken apart. In the papers it has come, Hare Krishnas are thieves. How can we continue our movement in Germany? How can we perform devotion in Germany? Nobody will allow us to make a temple, right? Then Prabhupada very simply said, oh,
Free advertisement.
They told Hare Krishnas are thieves. Oh, they have written about Hare Krishnas to the whole world. I'm so happy. Right? So the whole Germany knows there is Hare Krishnas. We could not do it, they have done it for us. Right? So people in great higher consciousness can even utilize that anger, the angry situation for their advantage. They just try to understand how to see the positive in the most negative situation. Only self-realized spiritualists serving God can handle anger with pleasure. Right? They don't get really angry for everything. Now let's understand anger a little more. Types of anger, there are many types of anger. Verbal anger, behavioral anger, passive anger. There are different. You will find a lot of this wisdom in the internet. So I'll not spend too much time on this. Right? There are different types. So which one are you, or which one you get? You get mostly angry. You can try to know by going through this like self-inflicted anger. This type of anger is the one that is directed towards one's own body. So when people they become angry, they don't have their dinner. They get angry, they don't have their lunch. Their mother will be calling, come and eat. No, I'm angry, I'll not eat. Right? So that is called self-inflicted anger. So chronic anger, judgmental anger. Right? So many types of angers. Is there a difference between anger and hate? Is there a difference between anger and hate? And what is
permanent and temporary things. There's the difference. Anger is a temporary, but the hatredness is a permanent thing.
Okay. Anything else that comes to your mind? It's the right answer. I'm just trying to hear more. Anybody?
Anger is temporary one.
Anger and hate. What is the difference?
So I mean to say long term and short term. I'm sorry.
Long term and short term. Okay. In the interest of time, let's go forward. What is hate? Hate is a feeling of extreme dislike and anger towards someone. It's extreme. You just can't stand that person anymore. Right? Hate is the angriest thing that you can say to someone. I hate you is a very, very strong statement. I'm angry at you is a very, okay, that's also strong. But I hate you is a very, very strong statement. Right? Extreme anger. Hate is when you are unwilling to let go of the anger. Even if the opposite person is coming and saying, sir, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry, this is what it. No, I hate you. Get lost. Right? That is called, it's called hatred. Right? That build up hate and anger can cause you to stress and physically harm yourself. Right? So what is the difference between anger and hate? Signs of anger turning into hate. How do you know that your anger is turning into hate? Right? You often think about the person you're angry at. All the time you're thinking about that person. That means your anger is turning into hatred. See, hatred means you actually put forward a plan to execute that anger. Right? You are actually working on it. You hate that person, so you're working on it to. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I have to take this. It's an urgent call. Sorry about that. Just 1 minute, please. Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So you burn inside when someone even mentions a person's name. Is there anybody in your life whose name, if somebody takes, you immediately become angry? That means you're developing hatred towards that person, right? Which is a very dangerous thing. You feel a need to tell others how you're hurt and wanting them to feel your anger too. So you go and start telling everybody about that person. You start advertising your anger towards that person to everybody. That means you hate that person, right? These are the signs whether you hate somebody or not. You start seeing yourself as completely innocent and other person is totally at fault. You feel that I am completely right, is completely wrong. That also means you hate that person. That means you're unwilling to see anything good in that person. Even the person is good in some things, you're unwilling to see. You only want to see the hate thing, the wrong things. You often think of ways to get revenge. You always are meditating how to take revenge against that person. You feel intense anger weeks and even months later. That means the anger is turning into hate. Right? Hate breeds hate. For every 10 minutes you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness, 600 seconds of happiness, right? You cannot change others as easily as you can change yourself. Yeah. Now, do you know how to control your anger? Now, I'm going to ask this question to everybody. Let's spend another 1 minute. How do you control your anger? If you're getting angry, how do you control that? Can you control it and how do you control it?
Get diverted from that situation.
Walk out from the situation. Yeah. How else?
Take time to understand what the scenario and pros and cons.
See, just imagine you're totally angry. Your head is boiling. Do you really think you'll do that?
No.
People come up with solutions. When you feel angry, you start counting 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have you ever tried that?
Yes, I tried that.
Yes,
It will
sir.
not work.
Doesn't work, right? After 10, you
No,
become
it
more
will not
powerful to
work.
hit back. Isn't it?
It gives extra points to argue more.
You get
We
10 more.
usually concentrate on actually getting angry rather than trying to get calm and counting.
Yeah. Anybody else? How do you control your anger?
So do what gives happiness to you? Like if you like watching videos, so give happiness to you, right? So do such things, small things.
So you're telling me, who is that speaking?
Sushita.
Yeah, Sushita. So your friend, say, can you tell one of your friends' names?
I'll take from Lohan itself. Take Swati.
Swati. Okay. So Swati is shouting on you, bombarding on you, and you open a YouTube video and you see, is it? Is it possible?
Okay, let them know that they are doing wrong.
What was that?
Like tell them that don't shout on me. Like that they are doing wrong. It's not the correct thing. So deal in with patience.
Okay. Anybody else? Come on, guys. I only see girls speaking. I don't see any boys speaking here. All the boys are.
Habituate of drinking their anger.
All the boys are peaceful. If they open their mouth, they'll be shouted at. Come on, anybody else? How do you control anger? What are the techniques given in the market to control anger? Let me ask it like that. What are the techniques given in the market to control anger, and have you used those techniques?
Laughing Buddha.
Laughing Buddha.
Stress
Okay.
ball.
On the numbers.
Yeah.
Quietly leave that place
Can
for
you
some
leave that?
time.
For some time, you can leave that place. Yes.
Yes.
See, I'll tell you one thing. All the techniques that you told, like I'll tell you what generally is there in the market. Now, let me just show you. Anger management techniques in market. Get exercise, ways to keep cool, right? Eat right, get enough sleep, relax, know your feelings, write down your feelings. So when you're feeling angry, immediately take a paper, A4 size paper, and start writing, right? Find fun distractions, take a time out, make decisions about what you see and hear, how to keep cool. Skills needed in dealing with your anger, right? They also talk about identify a range of feelings, including anger, developing mechanism of dealing with anger, identify self-destructive anger. But there is a problem with it. Great things about today's techniques is instant cure to anger is there. For example, you will get away from there. Obviously, it's an instant cure, right? Or instant sense enjoyment. Like I'll immediately start watching a YouTube video. Right? Immediately I'll start to divert myself. Or less effort for application. Very less effort, right? You can simply implement these things. And by the way, these all things, going to a vacation, taking a time off, go for a lunch, dinner, highly appreciated by today's society. Everybody say, nice techniques, anger management done. I'll tell you, I have attended myself so many such seminars, not anger management only, many others also. All of them are useless techniques. Because they're all temporary. They're all temporary techniques. Nothing is a permanent fix. There is no permanent fix. You have to find a medium for permanent fix. Right? So here, you have to understand what is a permanent fix also. Because generally what they give in the market, what are the drawbacks of today's techniques? Anger remains dormant within. It remains dormant. Anytime anger can explode again. Comfort is temporary, right? Whatever comfort that you get is temporary. Health issues due to depression, right? You keep everything inside and then it develops into health issues. Unpredictable nature and frustration and anger increasing at every moment, right? Every instance. Sense of insecurity from within, right? All these things start coming up. And most importantly, long-term relationships in trouble, right? When you apply these techniques in your house, your husband is shouting at you, are shouting at your husband, and you suddenly start applying, sarigama padani or start counting. These all things are not going to work. They eventually affect your long-term relationships also. Right? Yeah. So Krishna says in the same 16th chapter, bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means of sense gratification. So when you're angry, your decisions are wrong. Most of the time they're illegal also. So how do you really control your anger? Right? So let's understand, why do we get angry? In order to control your anger, you need to understand why do you get angry. Right? This is a very, very important exercise. Why do we get angry? So it says unreasonable expectations and unfulfilled desires are root cause of anger. What is the root cause of anger? Unreasonable expectations and unfulfilled desires. Right? Now let's analyze this. Number one, now I want everybody to focus on this. I'm going to tell you a technique through which you can easily conquer your anger. Right? Because I'm going to take you into the root cause of why the anger comes. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Now let's make this session useful for yourself. You can also share this with others. Okay. Contemplation on sense objects. Right? Contemplation on sense objects. Meaning what? First instance that happens is you leave your senses to see anything, to enjoy anything. So there are sense objects like YouTube is a sense object, movies is a sense object, magazines is a sense object, malls are a sense object. Everywhere where your senses find sense objects. What are your senses? Can anybody tell what are your senses? How many senses do you have?
5.
You have 5 senses, right? Eyes, nose, tongue, ears,
Skin.
skin. Right? These are your senses. So you allow them to go and see anything and enjoy anything. You just allow them openly. As a result of that, what happens? You develop attraction towards those objects, right? You started watching movies, every day you want to watch a movie. You started watching something bad in YouTube, you feel like repeating it again and again. You suddenly develop attraction towards it. Till now you never did it, but suddenly it's attractive for you, right? It's very attractive. You become attractive towards certain things. Why? Because you allowed your senses to be available everywhere. You thought by allowing my senses to see and everything, to enjoy everything, I'll find happiness, right? That's what a lot of people think. But because of that, what happens? You develop some attachment towards certain things, right? Now, what happens when you develop attachment? You want to unlimitedly enjoy, desire to uncontrolled enjoyment. Out of that, it starts, right? I want to enjoy more. I want to enjoy more, like that, right? You start contemplating on sense objects, and then you get develop attraction towards certain things, and now you want to enjoy uncontrolled. Now, are you all fine till here? Did you understand the connection? Any questions?
Right.
Yeah, simple, right? Yeah. So you allowed yourself to enjoy everything, and you develop some attraction towards some things, and then you want to uncontrollably, unlimitedly enjoy it. Right? That is the third stage. And what is the fourth stage? Lust to enjoy self-centered. Now, there's a fourth stage where I want to enjoy this now. I want to enjoy this now. I have to enjoy this now. Right? Like you went to a shopping mall, and you went to a multiplex, you want to see the movie, you want to enjoy the movie now. And what happens? One tall person comes and sits before you. Now his head is too high. You're not able to see the movie. You get frustrated. Right? You're too lusty at that point to see and enjoy. But something came in between. It's not his fault. It just happened like that. Or you're watching the movie, you just wanted to watch the movie, somebody got a cool drink and suddenly it fell on you. And you're all wet with some cool drink on you. And you can't watch that particular scene. You wanted to see the first scene of the movie, and the first scene you can't see because now you have to go to the toilet, drying it up and then come back and sit. You develop a lust to enjoy it. See, first is you allowed your senses to enjoy anything. Second, you develop attraction towards it. Third is you develop a desire for uncontrolled enjoyment. You want to uncontrollably enjoy it. And fourth stage, you only have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy it. I better enjoy it. So see, there are a lot of relationship problems today. A lot of marriages are going towards divorce. Why? Because you don't care what your spouse feels. All you care is, am I enjoying this relationship or not? Am I enjoying this relationship or not is what matters. Are you following what I'm saying? Lust. towards enjoying, right? The fourth stage. Now something happens. What happens when your lust is not fulfilled? What happens when your lust is not fulfilled?
Frustration, sadness, depression.
Anger.
There are so many factors.
Anger, isn't it? As soon as your lust is not fulfilled, you feel angry. Anger is a common emotion that comes out, isn't it? See, you've come all the way till there to enjoy, and you've arranged everything in your life to enjoy, and you become angry. See, a lot of people, our parents tell us, Babu, Chaduko, you should get good grades. So in future you'll be happy. And then you get good grades, you go to college, you find a good college, so that future will be happy. You get a good college, good grades, so future will be happy. And finally come into a job, they say when you get a job, you'll be happy. And when you join a job also, you're not happy. So what comes into you? Anger. So what is this? All these people cheated me or what? I could never be happy till now, thinking that now I'll be happy. Now I'm in this company, I'm still not happy. I wanted to enjoy this job. I wanted to enjoy the money from the job. But, the stupid company is not giving me any time to enjoy. My boss is a sadist. I cannot enjoy anything. What is this? So what has happened? You developed the expectation that you're going to enjoy. And because that expectation is not getting fulfilled, you get angry. Simple. Yeah. What is the root cause here? Because you allowed your senses to enjoy unlimitedly, you only developed attachment. And you only developed a desire to uncontrollably enjoy. You only became lustful towards that enjoyment. And when the lust is not fulfilled, you're becoming angry. Now what happens after anger? What happens after anger? When you're angry, what happens? Delusion of mind. Meaning, completely become blank. Just imagine, just try to remember last time when you were angry on somebody. How was your mind? It just becomes blank. Like a sound like that comes in your mind. Completely blank. Completely blank. Right? And then what happens? Bewilderment, meaning confusion. When you're angry, you're confused. What to do? What to do? What should I do? What can I do? Right? Completely bewildered. Right? Are you in sync with this, or anybody feels anything different? Right? For a moment, you become confused. What to do with it? I need to enjoy, and this thing is not allowing me to enjoy. I'm angry now. I don't know. I'm totally confused. Right? And then what? And then what happens? After bewilderment, what? Memory lost. When you're angry, you lose all your memory. For example, you go to your parents' home and your parents did not do something that you wanted them to do, and you suddenly start shouting. I already told you, you should have done this. I already told you, this is important. You start shouting at your parents also. You start shouting at your mother, at your father. How can you shout at your parents? Come on. It's like ridiculous, isn't it? Your parents are the ones who gave birth to you. None of us would be in these triangles right now if your mother would not have supplied food through the umbilical cord, isn't it? Our existence would not have existed if you would have not received the nutrients from our mother, or the nurturing from our father, or the care from our parents, for all the tolerances that they... Could any one of us exist? No. So there are thousands of incidents of gratitude that we want to show towards our parents, but when you become angry, what happens? Memory is lost. Memory is lost. You just forget. You forget everything the opposite person has done for you. It also happens in offices. Say, your team member, he has done so many good things for the team. He has done everything for the team. And he has helped you also in the past. But at this moment, when you become angry, you forget everything that he has done. There might be a person in the company who has brought the company from stage 1 to stage 10. But in stage 10, he did one mistake. Right? And the mistake has caused the company to come to stage 5. Just imagine. The mistake has brought the company back to stage 5. The owner will not remember that he has brought the company from stage 1 to stage 10. He only remembers that he is brought from stage 10 to stage 5. Then he shouts at him, saying, "You nonsense you are. You are a liability to the company. Better than you is a fresher who understands what to do." And then he uses abusive words. Right? And he forgets. Why anybody abuses anybody? When memory is lost. Why memory is important? Because memory gives intelligence. Memory gives viveka buddhi. Viveka buddhi means intelligence to differentiate. Viveka means differentiate. This is good, this is bad. That's called differentiating. Right? This is healthy, this is not healthy. It's called differentiating. The ability to differentiate is lost when your memory is lost. You following what I'm saying? Memory is a very, very important thing. You should remember what people have done for you, so you'll respect them. When you forget that, then you will insult everybody. You will not spare anybody. Right? So that is what happens. Your memory is lost. Right? Next, what? When your memory is lost, what happens? Your intelligence is lost. Right? You can't think anymore in a logical way. Right? You can't because your memory is gone. Right? Then what would you do? Your intelligence is lost, then fall down into lower consciousness. You fall down into lower consciousness, meaning you start making bad decisions. Your personality will go down. You become a bad person in the society. Right? Now, any questions on this full circle that I've just drawn here? Any questions? Did you understand, or any questions on this circle? I would request one of you to repeat, starting from the contemplation sense objects all the way to back. Can someone repeat it one by one? Anybody?
Consumption of senses and objects, like we are allowing the five senses to enjoy which is around ourselves, and we started developing attraction, and then it becomes addiction, like to see movies or like some attractions become addiction. Then it goes to desire, like I want to do that repeatedly, want to enjoy that thing, and it becomes lust, like it again becomes like we becomes I for some time, like I only want to enjoy and I want to do this. I becomes more important, self-centered. Sorry. Then if someone intentionally or unintentionally did disturb that flow, it becomes anger, and then it becomes like delusion of mind, like a blank mind, like you can't think about another thing, and you constantly thinking why does it that it didn't happen, and then it leads to confusion, like why, what, like. And then as a humans, we don't remember the good things which a person do. In when it comes to anger, we only point certain points, like why, and we only concentrate on negative things, or the things which he gone wrong. And then we lost the difference, like to judge it is correct or wrong. We only concentrate on anger, and it all causes into lower consciousness, and it falls apart our goodness.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Thank
it,
you.
sir.
Really appreciate that. It was a good summary. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ultimately, when you come to the lower consciousness, you again start investing more on sense objects. Right? Lower consciousness, again the cycle starts. You start attracting it more to sense objects. See, very simple. I'll give one more example. You wanted to go and see some movie. In that movie, somebody is smoking. Right? Say a girl is smoking or a boy is smoking. Somebody is smoking. Right? You saw that thing and you liked the way he's smoking or she's smoking. You also wanted to smoke. Why? Because that person is smoking. And you started smoking. Then you want to smoke uncontrollably because it is nicotine in that. It pulls your blood cells. So unknowingly you become addicted. Then you want to smoke for sure at every place that you go. And somebody says, "No, sir, smoking is not allowed here." What comes out? Anger. How dare you tell me smoking is not allowed here? It's my cigarette, my mouth, my life. I'll kill myself. What is your problem? Like that, right? And then your mind is deluded. And that time your mother comes and tells you, "Beta, don't smoke." It's not good for you. You're already confused. You're totally bewildered. You lose your memory that your mother is actually your mother. You know, she has done so much for you. You can't. And at one time you even shout at your mother. Right? Or you pose angrily. I'm grown up. Why are you telling me all these things? I know what is right in life. Because in that movie, the mother and father know that the hero is smoking. Still they're okay. In that movie, they're okay. Why are you not okay? I don't know. There is one Telugu movie in which I forgot that movie name. Long time back, I'd seen it. Ravi Teja is the hero in that movie, and he makes his grandfather drink. Right? He brings a drink to his grandfather, and he gives a heroine falls for that emotion. Wow, enta manchi manishi, I will love you. You know, she's like, because he's making his grandfather drink. And he justifies that the whole life he has not drunk, at least now let him drink. Wow, what a movie, what a moral. Right? And people are clapping in the theatre. Baba, enta manchi hero ra nayana. What is the moral you learn out of that? That make your grandfather drink. All grandfathers are happy. Right? All potas are happy. No, really think about this. When such kind of movies come into the street and children see it, what do they think? Drinking is a good thing, they'll think. Actually, they'll think drinking is a good thing. Tell me how many bad incidents have happened when people are drunk. Just imagine, when people are drunk, the horrific rape of that Meghna Reddy or something that happened in Telangana a couple of years back. All the 4 members in that lorry were drunk. The horrific rape of Nirbhaya that happened in Delhi. All the 4 members in that bus were drunk. And the horrible rape that happened recently in Bombay, which is alarming the streets, right? Everybody is asking justice. Those people are drunk. Now, is it not good enough evidence that we should not drink? We should not drink and drive? If it is not good to drink and drive, why are you drinking and living? Driving itself is so dangerous. How about drinking and living? No, sir, it's okay. Some little here and there. Little, kya little? The little will become big. And one day you will be stuck. You have uncontrollably allowed your senses, so that you will become a servant to that. There are so many forums to pull people out of such kind of habits. So many forums are there. Alcohol, de-addiction and all. So it is happening to others. It can also happen to you one day. And you waste your money. And forget about all that. You lose your good memory. You start abusing people because you're not being allowed to enjoy. Right? And then you start going into lower consciousness. Our habits, right? So is the cycle making sense to everybody? Is it a logical cycle?
Yes.
Yeah? The root cause of our anger, the root cause of our shouting at people. Why we shout at people? Because we lose our memory of what good they have done. Now tell me, if this cycle is logical, then you should also tell me that Bhagavad Gita is logical. Because all this is coming from 2 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. All this. Dhyayeto visho pumsan sangasya jupajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodha bijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammohat sammohat smriti vibrama smriti brahmashat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. This whole cycle is there in these 2 shlokas. Dhyayeto vishayat pumsa. Vishaya means what? Objects of senses. Dhyayeto means contemplating. Sangas tej upajayate. Right? You become very, very attached to that. Sangat sanjayate kama. Kama means lust. Right? When you associate, sangat means associating. When sangat sanjayate kama, when you associate too much, you develop lust. And kamat krodho vijayate. When the lust is not fulfilled, what comes? Krodha. Right? And when krodha comes, krodhat bhavati sammohat, meaning sammohat means mind is completely deluded. Krodhat bhavati sammohat. Sammohat smriti vibrama. Smriti means what?
Memory.
Smriti vibrama. Memory is gone. Smriti brahmashad buddhinasho. When memory is gone, buddhinasho. Buddhinasho means what?
Intelligence.
Conscious.
Intelligence is lost. Buddhinashat pranashyati. Pranashyati means you are going into lower consciousness. These two slokas, 2.62 and 2.63 from Bhagavad. I really liked Bhagavad Gita. I openly tell it to everybody. I like Bhagavad Gita because it has got such a beautiful anger management techniques, isn't it? From where it started and where you ended. So we all should learn scriptures, whichever religion we belong to, whichever path we come from. Before rejecting anything, at least learn it. A lot of people say, why should we read this is all religion? Religion, take it. Did you learn it? Did you read it? Is it saying anything? Does this do these two slokas say it is Hindu, Muslim, Christian or anything? Does it say? Huh? Nowhere it
won't
says.
say.
It won't say anything. It doesn't say anywhere. Does it say hate somebody, love somebody? No. It says if you contemplate your objects of your senses, you develop attraction towards it, which leads into uncontrolled enjoyment, and it turns into lust. When it becomes anger, your mind is deluded, you get into confusion, you lose your memory, your intelligence is lost, and you further fall down into your lower consciousness. Beautiful message. This is anger management. If you want to control anger, what you should do? First step is stop allowing your senses to openly go around. If you openly go around and try to enjoy everything, obviously anger will come one day. Today, one of the biggest problems is what? Today, one of the biggest problems is unethical expectations from each other. Right? Relationships, unethical expectations. Office, even in office, unethical expectations and illogical expectations. Office means aisa hona chahiye. Office means waisa hona chahiye. You know, I'm not getting this office. You're getting that in office. I'm getting. When all these things come in, you develop unreasonable expectations, and you develop anger, and you develop frustration, and you leave your job. You go through further more frustrations. What makes the office great? What makes the office great is not its infrastructure, is not its facilities. Tell me what makes the office great?
Mindset.
I'll tell you, not even your salary.
It's the mindset and the attitude.
The environment, sir. The environment of the office.
Respectful people make your office great.
Yes.
Respectful people at all levels, right from the bottom to the top. Everybody is respectful to each other. Everybody is trying to understand each other's situation. That is what makes office great, right? But what we see in movies, what we see in our friends, what do they? Hey, mere office mein ye hai, you know, our office has all. Google has all orange color to improve ideas. You know, this color is there in this office to improve this kind of feeling. All those things, but that is not what. If Google is so great, then why is the Google's attrition rate more than 20% today? Huh? The best employer, Cognizant. At one time, Cognizant was the best employer in India. I had friends in it. Today, the Cognizant attrition rate is more than 40%. What does it mean to be 40%? Do you understand? If you are 3 people are sitting around you, 2 people are gone. It's crazy, isn't it? How come? If infrastructure is the thing, if salary is the thing, then why are people leaving? People leave because they don't have a healthy work environment. Healthy work environment means where people don't respect each other. People are just simply showing their anger. Once I was in the office, I'm sorry to say this, I was in the office, I was sitting in my cabin, in the old office. One manager, he was shouting at his subordinate outside my cabin. And he was shouting in public. There is no need. You take a cabin and shout. Shouting in public, so another 10 people will listen to him. I don't know what the subordinate did. Maybe he did something wrong. Maybe it was a mistake, but there is a way to deal with it. If as an elder, if as a, what do you call that? As a experienced person, you don't know how to handle it, then it's very dangerous to the company. Because of that behavior, some good people will leave the company. And even the subordinates, even the freshers or the people who are coming in the beginning, learn to be tolerant, learn to be patient. Somebody is trying to teach you something. You're coming here to learn. Don't think that in the first year itself, I'm so great that I don't need to learn anything or nobody can tell me anything. Right? That attitude is not good. Just like that Mall person, I told the example, right? The mall, when he came for the fridge. Right? Same thing. Everything will fall apart if we don't control our emotions and we don't know how to play with those emotions, how to utilize those emotions. Right? Anger management is very, very important. Emotional management is very, very important. But all goes for a toss when you have unreasonable expectations. Say, for example, a project is going through tough times, but your expectation is I'll go home at every day at 6 o'clock only. Now tell me, is that a fair expectation to have? The project is going through tough times. You have to work hard. You have to spend those extra hours. You have to do what is needful. Yeah, when the project is going through good times, go at 4 o'clock. Who stops you? IT industry, that's what it gives, right? Flexibility. When you don't have anything, just relax. When you have something, work for it. Right? Burn yourself for that. And then make sure it happens. But unreasonable expectations. Right? And you hear from other sources that this company is like that company is like that. See, I'll tell you one thing. All of you, most of your freshers in this call, so I'm telling you, the freshers or juniors. You go to Infosys, you go to TCS, you go to Cognizant, you go to Microsoft, you go to Google, you go to Oracle, you go to any of the companies. Ultimately, you have to work under one manager only. Is that true? And if that manager is an idiot, you are going to leave that company for sure. Whichever company you call it. Right? So actually, it doesn't matter which company you're working in. Try to make your manager work with you. Try to work with your manager. Go speak to your manager. Sit in his cabin. Bhaiya, tell me, kya chahiye tumko? Tell me, I'll try to work. I'll try to make it work. And he is also not a villain. He or she is not a villain. Okay, you come. Okay, let's talk. Why don't you do? Okay, sir, this is what you wanted. I'll do it for you. Okay, one extra weekend I'll work. I'll fix it. And I'll tell you, you are in the best company. You're in the best work environment. All you did is one small adjustment. You can just control your anger by agreeing to become humble. Just become a little humble and everything will be fixed. But people these days are very intolerant. They just want everything on the day one. Right? They just don't want to deal with anything. That is a problem. And now we understood the root cause, right? The root cause is because we have unreasonable expectations. And where are these unreasonable expectations coming from? They are coming from sources that you are hearing from. This friend told this, that friend told that, this office, this work environment, this, that. All that you hear, and the effect of that is in your job here. You start expecting something which is unreasonable. Now, the time is a factor. Actually, this thing takes more time. But I'll try to finish it, bring it to a logical closure. Mind lives on impressions, right? Mind lives on impressions. What is that? Mind dictates everything. Emotions in the mind, thoughts in the mind, which lead into actions. You have to control the mind. You have to learn to control the mind. If you don't control the mind, it's going to affect you someday, right? Like this fellow, what is he doing? He's keeping the phone below, lifting the iron press. So he's going to burn his ears. Uncontrolled mind. Mind takes help of past impression and acts, right? Past impressions. For example, this person had a fight in the morning, with his wife or somebody. He comes to the office. What is the first impression in his mind? Morning first impression that he had a fight. Small mistakes happen at home, right? And then the mind triggers immediately and becomes a big fight. Just becomes a cats and dogs fight because you're carrying impression from the morning. What is the impetus for stopping anger? You will become peaceful. No worse the relationship, long-term interest, children, dependents, everybody will be happy if you try to control anger. What does it mean to be nice? NICE. Needs, interests, concerns, and expectations. Nice. Understand each other's needs, interests, concern, expectations. So in summary, lusty desires, kama, leads to anger. And when unsatisfied, it leads to greed also. When satisfied, it leads to greed also. Right? When you try to satisfy bad desires, they also become more greedy to get more and more of those. Right? So if there is enough in this world for everyone's need, but not for even a single person's greed. Greed is such a bad thing. Even God cannot fulfill somebody who is greedy. He'll just keep on asking for more and more. 4 stages of anger and its root cause. 4 stages. Simple. Disturbance. First, it starts with the disturbance. Second, irritation. Right? You become irritated. Third, anger. It just becomes angry. And finally, resentment. You have done something that you'll resent. Why did I do this? I should not have done that. Right? Root cause of anger, we already discussed about it. But this topic will take a little more time. Maybe I'll take it some other time. Is your ahankara, about false ego. I'll just skip this slide. I'll just keep it here. But I'll tell about these three things. Ahankara is a separate topic, which I can explain later. It's about a false ego. They call it a false ego. But what is vritti, sanskaras, and vikalpas? Vritti means our reactions to situations. How you react to a situation is called vritti in Sanskrit. And then when done repeatedly, it becomes sanskara. Meaning, every time this incident happens, you're reacting like that. It becomes a sanskara, something that lasts. And ultimately, sanskaras eventually become foul mouth. Right? You start speaking bad language. Bad language doesn't come in the day one. Because you heard it many times, because you told it many times, now it has become your nature. The moment you open your mouth, bad language starts coming out. Right? So it has become your vikalpa. Like for example, your porter has got luggage late to the train. He got it late to the train and the train is gone. How are you going to react? Either you shout, either you completely shout at the porter, or you just forgive, saying that, okay, it is how it was meant to happen. I had to miss the train, so I missed it today. So all of you can be peaceful. You can be peaceful, the porter can be peaceful. After the train has gone, what is the reason to fight? Right? But still, our ahankara, ahamkara, meaning I am the doer. I am the doer mentality will make you feel angry for small little things. Right? So how do I conquer my anger? So simple, I already told you the technique. But there is one additional thing I have to tell you, self-observation. Right? You have to observe, recognize that I'm losing my temper. You have to observe that you're losing your temper. Peers observation, superior observation, self-observation helps. Second, identify the source, emotional diary. Record when and all you got angry. Sometimes, at least mentally you record it. I'm getting angry every time this happens. I'm getting angry on a certain person. Right? I'm getting angry in a certain situation and how long it is lasting. Every time I'm becoming angry, I'm actually keeping it for such a long time. So the more time you keep anger in your hand, the more it burns your hand. And what actions did I take after becoming angry? What actions I should have taken? Right? And the third thing is understand by ABC analysis. Right? Activating agent, belief system, consequential behavior. What is the activating agent of your anger? You have to analyze. Right? And what is the belief system? What is my belief system? I'll give you an example here. Your friend told somebody that you are hardworking but not smart. Your friend told that to somebody that you are hardworking but not smart. Now, what is the activating agent here? Your friend is the cause of your anger because he told it. What is your belief system? Your friend is foolish. He doesn't know anything about you. That is your belief system. Right? You already think that you are great and you think that your friend doesn't know about you. Consequential behavior, you shout at home or talk bad about him. Right? That is so you should analyze your anger, why it happened, who is the cause for it, and how am I reacting. When you do that, next time not while you're angry. You can't do that when you're angry. I'll not give you that stupid technique of counting numbers and all that. That will not work. This is aftermath, right? After the whole thing has happened, at least it shouldn't repeat. So you can do some analysis, self-observation, identify the source, and do some ABC analysis, right? Yeah. So yeah, this one I should have covered it, but in the interest of time, I'm not able to do it. It's a beautiful example, actually. I'll put it in 2 minutes, right? So there is an anniversary, and husband and wife are eager to celebrate the anniversary. And the husband it's on Friday evening. The wife is waiting in the house, and the husband wants to leave, and the boss comes and tells, you have to finish the report before you go. And the husband, like, come on, it's my anniversary today, but he has to finish the report. So he's frustrated. Wife is frustrated because you told you'll come by 6 p.m., but you are still in the office and you struggle to go back. And while you're going back, you want to take a sweet or a gift for your wife, and you stop at a signal and you get a challan for that because you parked it at the wrong place. So you get a challan, you also get a sweet. And finally, instead of reaching at 6 o'clock, you reached at 8 o'clock. Not your fault, but your wife is already angry in the house. She opens the door, you give the gift, she throws the gift, she goes and sits in the hall, you go and sit in the bedroom. Result is what? Both of you are angry on each other, but who is responsible? Situation, right? It is a situation that made both of you angry, but you both of you did not mean to. That's what happens most of the time, right? We are angry at each other, but we don't understand that all of us are putting the effort for it to be fixed. but we're just angry on each other, right? So you have to understand the situation. I could have done that example in a much more dramatic way, but there's no time today. So I'm just trying to pull it off. Okay. Yeah. So who is to blame here? Husband or the wife? Nobody is to blame, right? How would you react? You also would react in the same way. You're sitting in a bedroom, you're sitting in the hall. Could this have been solved? No, sometimes you can't solve it. Every problem on the planet cannot be solved. Accept that, right? So you have to accept that some things happen, you have to forgive. Even in your workplace, some things cannot be solved. Just accept it and cooperate with each other, right? So bottom line, this is the bottom line. Contemplation of sense objects. You can't allow your sense objects to go everywhere and develop false expectation. If you cut this, automatically your anger is controlled. Automatically your anger is controlled. People today are angry because they have wrong expectations. They have wrong desires, right? They see some wrong things in the internet and they expect their spouses to be like that. How is it possible? Have you ever seen your wife or husband walking like somebody in the fashion TV? It will never happen. That's a wrong expectation, right? And then you start blaming your life. Oh, it is like this, like that. No, it's not going to work like that. We are not plastic dolls. The people who walk on that fashion stage are all plastic people. They don't have any emotions. We are human beings, right? We can be normal. We have to accept the way things are. But contemplating on the wrong sense objects is a very, very dangerous thing. And of course, uncontrolled enjoyment is a dangerous thing. Anger is a dangerous thing, right? So root cause, purified desires. If your desires are purified, automatically you'll be happy, right? And of course, there are many, many techniques for controlling anger across religions, whether it is Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, or Vedic, anywhere. Yes, chanting the names of God is something which is good. Even Muslims do it in surahs, and even Christianity they do it, and even in Islam they do it. Even in Vedic we do it. Like I personally follow this technique, the chanting the names of God. Many great people, like including Christ, our Father, art of the heaven, hallowed in the name, says that by chanting the name it helps. Guru Nanak, in the ambrosial hours of the morning, I meditate on the grace of the true name, right? It's there in the Guru Granth Sahib. Muslim also says in Allah, and in Hindus we chant the Hare Krishna mantra or mantras, because these names, meditating on the names really, really helps. Some great personalities like this model from France, she's also chanting. A great industrialist, Andy Desai, or Ford, Alfred Ford, the owner of Ford Motors, he does his chanting in the morning before he goes to the office. So the greatest of the people take shelter of chanting. This can be a separate session sometime on the SQ side. When I deal with spiritual quotient, I'll tell you more. But I'm telling you some techniques of conquering anger, right? So summary, there are different phases of anger, and you know the root cause of anger, right? And you also know how the 4 stages of anger goes forward. And I discussed about your self-analysis that you have to do, in terms of recognizing, identifying, and understanding why you're becoming angry. And of course, there is physical application, mental application. I didn't spend much time on this, right? So this overall we discussed about anger today, right? So remember this, underline always: purified desires in the mode of service will fix your anger. Meaning you should have good desires and try to become more service oriented, and then you can conquer anger. Okay, so I've already crossed my time. This session actually is a long session, but I thought I'll try to finish it between 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So any questions, before we wrap up? Any questions? Maybe you can on your screen. For the 6th time I'm requesting, but I don't see any hope here. But anyway, I'll keep doing that until somebody starts listening. So was it helpful? Did you learn anything new today?
Yes.
Any questions?
Yes.
No questions?
No, sir.
No questions means 2 things. Either you understood everything or you didn't hear anything.
No, it's nice concept, sir.
Do you want such sessions to continue relating to EQ, or just want IQ?
Yes, yes. No, EQ is most important rather than IQ, also important. If you have a person having IQ without having EQ, everything is waste.
Amazing. Thank you, Mohammed. Really appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay, what is that one takeaway from today's presentation? Come on, I want some of you to answer. Please open your screen and speak out. What is that one takeaway?
The one takeaway is a balance. Progressive life should be in every professional life, rather than compared to the personal life, as well as managing their schedule in an appropriate manner. Then it will be a smoother life without having difficulties.
You have to learn how to balance your life so that,
Yes.
yeah, so you can fulfill your expectations.
Yes, I prioritize everything in a effective manner.
That's actually some part of the time management that we discussed last week. Right? Last week,
Yeah.
time management discussed about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else? No, I can call out some names if you want me to, unless you speak out.
Less expectations, less desires, less attractions makes your life more
Okay,
comfortable.
So Sujana is saying less expectations, less desires. I think that's a very boring life. What do you say? No desires is a boring life.
She just has to rephrase saying right expectations.
So that answer should be right expectations and right desires.
Yes.
Right? Good life doesn't mean no
Yes.
expectation, no desires. Right? You should have right expectations, right desires. And in the desires, you should include others also. That is what makes it a good desire. Right? When you desire only for your enjoyment, that is lust. But when you desire for everybody to enjoy, like tomorrow we are desiring everybody to come to the office and celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi. That is love. That is not lust. But if Swati says, I am going to sit alone in the office and do Ganesh Puja, that is lust. Right? That is not love. Right?
Right expectation is perfect expectation, I think so.
Yes. Anybody else? Mr. Gopal Rao, you're not speaking, so I'm asking your name. Gopal Rao must be shocked. I'm like, what is this? I didn't even on my screen. Yes, Rahul, Naveen, Shrija, Kamakshi, Somashekar, you all exist or your names only exist? I don't know.
All are talkative, but here they are not talking.
Or are you all angry right now? I don't know. Any other? What is your takeaway? Come on, few more takeaways. We'll wrap it. It's been a long time. We all have a lot of things to do.
Basically finding the main root cause for your anger and work on them to how to overcome that actually.
Who just spoke? Some Akashvani. I don't know from where it came.
Devi Prasad.
Devi Prasad. Thank you, Devi Prasad. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, Sushita here. So this is a very useful session for me personally. So these kind of sessions we used to have while we are in college. So at that time, I was so empathetic. Later on that the brainstorming part has stopped because we did not have such sessions after studies are completed. So now again I'm refreshing and this is, I'm feeling this is more useful session. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I hope that you'll apply it also. And
yes.
Benefit out of it. Okay. Okay. So over to you, Swati. I think I'm done. So we can wrap up now.
Thank you all for participating, and I can see few active participants and getting involved into the discussion. So I think we need to have a session how to open up, how to actually come out of your shell and start talking without fear, right? Without having a thought that somebody is going to judge me, because many a times we don't speak out. Because I myself used to have same thing. What if what I said is wrong? What if they'll feel that how can she can think in that way, and they'll laugh at me, right? So please come out of it. See, everybody do have these things, right? All the time, it's not required that you give right answer only for any question. It could be anything. That's fine, but the participation is what required. So we can see the entire list of like 35, 45 members. However, I can see like 4, 5 active participants. So I would request all of you to participate. It's okay. Answer is right, wrong, whatever it is, right? Nothing to worry. We all are like part of the same thing, and we have grown slowly, and we too have our own backdrops. So do participate. So, or else maybe we will be forced to take 111 name, right? So, or else we have to push. So, but yeah, it's good to see that you guys are coming and joining the training and learning some more other things from here, and we'll have more trainings. And I would like to meet all of you in office tomorrow. Asa, I'm sorry, but definitely next time I'll definitely try to arrange something for you. Asa, she is in Pune, Asa and Vinit, and they wanted to come. Such a short notice. So they were showing eagerness. So people who are in Hyderabad, definitely I'm sure they can take out 2 hours of time, come meet us, join for tea and snacks, apart from taking blessings of Ganesha. So that will be very, very, in fact, once we'll meet, we can actually plan more such things ahead. Definitely we'll try to be safe, maintain distance. We are wearing mask in office, and all the things are being taken care. So do come, meet, let's talk, right? Let's be connected so that we also get to know, because I know names, but I don't know faces of everybody. So would like to see you tomorrow in office.
Yeah.
And after seeing the arrangements, if you suggest, Swati, next time, this time you have not done this, next time you should be doing in much better way. So I'll welcome all your thoughts, and we can actually arrange things together. So if you have not clicked on yes in today's poll, which I sent it across today morning, please do click on yes. And also please come. And if you have any difficulty, you cannot leave your kid and come or anything like that. If you would like to bring them to office also, please do let me know. We'll inform the security, right? Anybody is facing any such challenge that I cannot leave my kid or anything because it's Ganesh Puja. So we would love to have you guys there. In fact, somebody suggested that can we have like families during Ganesh Puja. So I suggested, okay, less number of people might be like good. So let's arrange a family day also soon. Once we'll get clarity on third wave, let's arrange for a family day also. That's what the thought is. That's there. And many more to come. So do come tomorrow and do participate. Try to be active participant in the trainings. And thank you so much, Lakshman, again for one more wonderful session, though I could not attend entire session today because I was just little occupied with arrangements for tomorrow. So I'll definitely go through the video. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Sir Lakshman, sir, I have a little bit of doubt. This is Bhavani, sir.
Yes, Bhavani.
Sir, many people will be chanting many holy mantras, and still they are unable to handle the anger. So they will be continuously from their childhood, they will be chanting the mantras, but they don't, means that chanting won't make them to reduce their angry. So they will be very high level of angry, I can see in some of the people. So why it will happen like that, sir? Still as they are chanting, so
yeah, because the medication is still going on. They have not cured the disease yet. That's why. So don't blame a patient to be sick. Patients are patient. As long as we are in the hospital, we'll get cured one day. We have to continue the medicine. So somebody takes 4 days, somebody takes 5 days, somebody takes a whole lifetime. And there is a life on life process. Anarthas is a long topic in itself. Like your anger, why we are all different, some of us can handle some emotions nicely, others can't, is all determined on the birth that we have taken in this life and what made us take this birth. It's a big spiritual topic in itself. But understand one thing, that the solution works provided we are sincere to it. We are doing it with faith, right? Like Ayurveda works when you have faith in the medicine. More than the medicine, the faith in the medicine makes a big deal. So some people chant the names, but they don't have faith in it. They just do it like a ritual. So obviously it works like a ritual. Right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sate vajamyam. According to how you approach it, according to how you look at it, that is the result you get. Right? So the same mantra can be sung like a song in a Bollywood song, or the same mantra can change your life, by keeping faith in it. So everything has its effect by the faith, and you should have the patience to practice it. Right?
Many times what happens, Bhavani, that we feel that we have achieved everything. I'm practicing since childhood. I know better than you. Right? So that kind of a thing when comes to your head, right? So just like you become like a Ravana who feels that I have achieved so much, right? So that's where all your buddhi goes for a toss, right? So you should be grounded. You should understand that other person might possible that know more than you. Right? The moment you feel that you know everything, then this is what the stage when comes in. You are chanting, but that will not be effective for you.
Okay, nice question. I'm happy one question came out of the whole thing.
Sir, but Valmiki also, Valmiki is an illiterate and he chanted the word Rama in a reverse way. But so he is also don't know anything about that. But still he become famous and he has written Ramayana. But then how it is possible, sir? So as he is chanting from his whole life, but he is not able to handle the anger. But Valmiki has written the Ramayana.
But the answer for that, anyway, it's a long discussion, but simple answer is he was blessed by Narada. And Narada is a great.
That's it.
Right?
Okay.
Anybody becomes pure. Right? So because of his association with Narada, he could chant from Mara to Rama and he could write Ramayana. So the power of
So everybody is a blessings of God only, no, sir. We are also.
But if you don't want to take any blessings of any devotee, think that you are the best, you are God, then only God can. Then even God can.
No, sir. Just we are discussing only. So please don't my words.
The thing I always say, question can never be wrong, answers can be. Right? So question can never be wrong.
Okay.
My answer may not be complete. But all I'm trying to tell you is we should be humble to learn, eager to learn, submissive to learn. And automatically the grace will come. But if you feel that you are already knowledgeable and you are great already, pride is the gateway to hell. Because pride leads to anger, pride leads to envy, pride leads to lust, pride leads to everything. So pride is something that even God doesn't like. Right? So pride is the emotion that we should be always careful with.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have a nice rest of the day and let us see you tomorrow. What time is it, Swati, tomorrow again?
So I'm expecting everybody by 3:30. Even if they can come early, that will be good.
Yeah.
Right? So from it might take 2 hours for puja, and after that, yes, of course, we can chit chat, catch up, know how things are going on in each other's life, and we can plan things ahead.
Yeah, and tomorrow is a very, very, very auspicious day, Ekadashi also, right? And it's like double, Ganeshji and Ekadashi and our new office. And so why don't we just grab that opportunity and come out of our shells and, come out of our triangles here and actually meet in person.
So we'll try to arrange 2 types of sweets.
Okay.
You guys smiling when I said sweets, so I got to know Shiva likes sweets, so I'll give my laddu also to him. Thank you guys.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lakshman sir. Thank you.